Hey, this is George.
Hey, this is Fred.
This is Real Talk with George and Fraser. What's going on, brother?
Not much, brother.
How you feeling?
I feel better. Not
Okay,
really. I'm talking lying.
okay. Take it easy. I definitely know how that is. You know, did you have
Oh,
the opportunity to watch the fights this weekend?
look here. I'm gonna say like I said this way. Both of them boys need to sit down somewhere. Oh, look, but here, here to me, here's Mayweather defense. One, he taller and way more weight than him. So obviously, he should have been knocked out. Theoretically speaking, pound for pound, Mayweather should got knocked out. But no Mayweather, he knocked his big ass. He knocked his big behind stupid. Let me real about the picture. He caught him a couple times, but man threw 217 punches. Only landed for less than 60? Really, bro? Like, you worse than at least Pacquiao landed at least 100. He ain't even
No, you
land.
got to understand. You got to understand. His whole thing was to get him tired. I watched it, on YouTube. I wasn't paying for it, and from what I can see from the stadium, it wasn't packed. It was at half capacity, and he was just trying to tire him out. He took the first 2 rounds to tire him out. When he knew that he couldn't carry his hands anymore, that's when he started moving. But here's the thing. You got Floyd Mayweather, who has almost 30 years of boxing experience, and you have a kid who just started boxing, and look, Paul was not even slick with his punches.
Nope.
All Paul had was he didn't even have a straight 1-2. He didn't even have that.
Nope.
All he had was the jab, and then when he got tired with the jab, he was throwing it like a back fist. That was it.
Exactly.
He didn't know how to move and slick, and that's why Floyd kept catching him with that lead hook, just boom, waiting for him to come. You see what I'm saying?
And problem? One time he went in, and Mayweather tired of, and one thing, here's another thing too. Why I say you mentioned one time before, George, when a person is bigger than you, it's a different tire versus a person saying his pipe. And he tied Mayweather up a lot. And the thing Mayweather like, what the? And he couldn't get out.
No, he could get out, but Mayweather was tired too. I'm gonna tell you. Look, Mayweather had a little chub on his stomach.
Yeah,
I knew that Mayweather was going to run this whole thing out when he started coming to him and just walking him down like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this kid doesn't even understand that you go low to drop his hands, because he fought all the way under him. You see what I'm saying? You go low to drop his hands to tap him, ping, ping.
Yep.
And he couldn't even do that. And I was like, oh, nah. I said,
you see that body shot Mayweather landed him though?
Oh yeah. Did you see his face? Did you see his extension?
Exactly.
Like, I was like, yeah, this kid is over.
Dude, that picture by itself is a man. Oops.
Oh yeah, it was over. It was a wrap. It was a wrap. But like I said, what does Mayweather do? Whenever Mayweather needs a check, he goes out and puts these things on. And, it is what it is. I understand he has a legitimate boxing promotion. Yeah. But the thing about this that hurts boxing is the fact that, first of all, Paul never should have been in there. Like, I'll tell you like this. His brother is at least fighting legitimate fighters who can add on to what they have. You see what I'm saying? This dude has a 0-1 boxing record. He's boxing a guy who's 50-0.
Exactly. Come on now. But here's the thing, though. His brother won't fight Mayweather. Because, see, remember one thing. The issue is not with his brother. It's with Jake. He was if he fought Jake, it would not be the same fight.
Oh, no, not at all.
The same fight.
Not at all. If they would have fought Jake, he would have trained harder, and he would have fought Jake. He would have knocked him out.
Yeah, he was going to knock out him.
He definitely would have knocked him out.
Because, like you said, remember. And one thing I know his brother did was smart was he kind of separated himself from that statement his brother made. So Mayweather wasn't hot with him as he was with his brother. That was smart on his behalf. That was really smart on his behalf. I'm gonna say that.
Okay. Well, listen, fans, that's enough fight talk. We have a guest with us, Mr. Fred Hill. I see him getting ready.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Fred, welcome to Real Talk.
Yeah, gentlemen, George, Fraser, man, what's going on, man?
How you doing?
For having me, man. I couldn't wait. I couldn't even sleep this weekend, man.
Okay.
Look, I got some real talk coming up, man. So let me go get my rest, dog. I was ready. What's going on?
All right. Listen, I can definitely dig it. Just move your camera over slightly so we can see your whole face.
Okay, what's going on?
There we go. Beautiful.
There we go. All right.
Welcome to the show, brother. Tell the fans and listeners a little bit about yourself.
Gentlemen, and to all of you, the Real Talk listeners and viewers, my name is Fred Hill. radio, TV personality, community organizer here in Chicago, Illinois. Also instruct intro to radio, television, Illinois Media School. So jack of many trades, master of many as well, and just overall dope guy, I guess I like to say.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Absolutely. Why media? Is it because it's something that you've been into, or is it because podcasting now has hit such a new height and it's set to really to explode, that you're teaching people how to use their radio voices, how to enunciate, how to create their own personalities online or in radio?
Man, well, for me, media, it's just it was a natural match for me. I think it's something that for people who really are good at media or have a knack for it, I think it's something that's natural that got to be in you. You have to be a people person. So for me, I noticed my gift of gab and my gift for speaking when I was about 15 years old. So I'm 30 now, so that's half my life. So it feels good to be pretty much understand your call and understand your purpose at a young age and to stay dedicated to it. But I knew I had a voice. It's funny how it occurred. I was actually a participant for a spring break college tour hosted by the YMCA Metropolitan Chicago. Shout out to the Black and Latina Achievers Program. Everybody that might be watching, some of my Facebook friends that I actually got an opportunity to meet you guys on those college tours, man, back in high school. But my brother, Art Dunn, was a chaperone. And he was going around with a camera, George, for the whole week just recording. He'd come to me and I'm like, yeah, man, we on the bus. We getting ready to pull off. We head out to Atlanta. It's going to be a good time. Then he'd come to me later on. All right, where we at? Well, we at Morehouse, y'all. Right. We having a good time, going to see everything. So the whole week he followed me, and he came back. And my brother, he really like not into media, but he's a very good creative, natural, I say as well. And he came back and he put everything into Windows Movie Maker and made a film. And when he presented it to the YMCA, they was like, "Man, who is this kid? Like, who is this guy? He's pretty natural. Like, we like him." And it got back to me, the good response that they were getting, and they ended up inviting me to like host end of the year galas and whatnot for the YMCA youth programs. And at that point, like I got the bug, and it hit me like, okay. Well, maybe I could be the next AJ on 106 and Park, at the time.
That's right. You telling on yourself now, 106 and Park. You telling on yourself now.
Hey, yeah. Some of the shorties like, could you believe it? Some people who viewing right now don't know nothing about 106 and Park. And if they do, they don't even remember AJ and Free. Like they think Terrence J or somebody or Bow Wow is like the host.
Exactly.
Nah, yeah. I keep throwing myself to the camera, y'all. I'm confused. All right.
Oh man.
Hold on, Fraser, real quick. Let me ask you a question. Really quick, just to follow up on that. How is the broadcast media and classes going for you? Are you finding great interest like in our communities, or is it just trickling down? Because we right now are seeing a switch. We're very slick with our cameras now. We're the first ones to pull our cameras out, not just out of media or creative possibilities, but out of necessity sometimes for life and survival. How are you seeing that change? My question is there a flip that's being switched in the Black community now when it comes to media? Or are we still just in our spaces?
Great question. Far as teaching, I've been teaching and instructing. Shout out to True Star Media. It's an organization here in Chicago that instructs young people on all things media, from graphic design, intro to podcasting, video creation, photography. So I actually was a participant for True Star for a brief stint. I had an opportunity. They actually gave me my break on actual terrestrial radio here in Chicago. And upon completing that show, I got an opportunity to instruct their school-based programs with After School Matters here in Chicago. I actually got the T-shirt. I was rocking it earlier today.
That's right.
That was represent.
So like through being able to instruct the young people at on the high school levels for after school programs, that's when I got an opportunity to see like, okay, it's a community of young people who are really interested in pushing their voices. First of all, finding their voice. Once they find their voice, it's a community of young people who are really interested in being creatives, who just may not have the know-how of how do I navigate. But to tie it to, I've been doing that about almost 10 years as far as when I first got my first class. So to look at like almost 10 years and looking at today, what I think has changed is the accessibility. You know, we got these things called mobile phones that, you know, allow us to do anything at the tap of a screen. So I'm seeing a lot more people having the bravery and the courage to actually go with the punches, go with the flow. Man, this is what I'm thinking today, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it to whoever I believe listening to me. And if I stay convicted in that long enough, I can find myself in the trade that I had not foreseen for myself. So school is just like having more dedicated adult learners, because it's not just kids. You know what I mean? I try and get out the point of saying kids. We got people who were either a part of the radio broadcast community once before and looking to sharpen up and get into this new age of the technology. Or you have people who just were sitting back and waiting on that opportunity and for clarity in their spirit to say, man, nah, I'm gonna really go for this new trade and actually seeing this as a trade. I think a lot of people didn't see the field of media communications as a trade, as something that you could pick up and gain and monetize from it, you know. But now we're seeing that shift and that change. You know, we got guys like you guys who just putting together product and content and creating from the mud, you know. So I think that's a beautiful thing what y'all doing, and y'all are a class A example of the creatives who are pushing their own content and creating their own narrative. So I think y'all a great example of that, and y'all deserve a salute and a nod for sure.
Well, we definitely appreciate you, brother. Definitely appreciate you. Go ahead, Fresh.
Oh, God, Joey, take all the good questions you can come and hit me with. Go ahead, Fresh.
Come on now, Fresh. You know how we get down.
I know. I was gonna piggyback what he said. Like, times are changing so much from like radio from like the 70s to the 80s to the 90s, and now going into the millenniums. And each time the trends are different. Like, what are some of the things that you found that encourage you that you can use to help you in the community, helping the community and teaching also?
Some of the things that encourage me far as teaching in community,
teaching in the community, because you know, like each kid have a different way of learning. Each millennium have a different way of perceiving the knowledge.
Well, I'll say, man, good question. I think something that encouraged me is, once again, just helping young people find their voice. And when you see the results, like when you somebody like me who you've been in the game for a few years, I say that humbly and thankfully, to be able to have shaken the hands and be in the same vicinity and rooms of some of the people I have. But the results are the people who follow your tutelage, you know what I mean? And what do you see them do? And, you know, I've been blessed to have students that, you know, some of my babies couldn't read a 30-second commercial to save their life, you know, but like you say, through different tactics, the most powerful method in teaching is repetition, you know. So through repetition and through just helping people hone in on the craft, I watch students go on to be presidents of their Black journalism club at their campuses that they've decided to attend college or universities at. I've watched students be premiered at DuSable Museum and win awards for short films and documentaries. Had another young lady be invited to the Breakfast Club in New York with Charlamagne the God, DJ Envy for some of her work. So those are the things that's encouraging. You know you're doing something right. You know you're able to tap into another person's mind and creativity, and just through inspiring and encouragement, all the places they can go. You know, so that's why I find the encouragement in that, and it's just about, as well as I have an extensive community background, so it's interesting you asked that, Frazier. Outside of media, I do a lot of work with nonprofit organizations and community mobilization. So for me, it's like just wanting to bring the world of media and community under one umbrella. And that's what my new media company, Cadre Media, represents. That's an acronym for Cultivating the Dream Reveals Excellence. And what is a cadre? A cadre is a group of people who are trained in a particular concentration, and they work in that concentration in the effort to pull those behind them up to new levels, so that they could take it beyond. So that's what my life story been about. And I just really want to push creativity and letting the young people of tomorrow know that we control our narrative, and we got a voice that can reach the masses as long as we allow the conviction and the dedication to lead our way.
True. That's true. Wait, Joe look frozen over there. Oh snap! He look frozen. Oh man. So other part of that, the backpack on that part of it is like community help is a lot, especially today with young youth, especially with all the crime going on, especially all the police things going on and stuff. Like, what are some of the things that use your personality as a radio personality and your influence on the community to try to shift a little bit of that, the youth, not to think all negative and try to keep their mindset on the positive that they can achieve?
Good. Another great question. I'm just blessed, Frazier, to have had a unique form of training. Far as different professional developments I've been able to have and different roles I've been able to assume in community. So for me, another shout out to Southside Help Center, a nonprofit organization here in Chicago that does HIV/AIDS outreach and awareness, as well as violence prevention. I served as a prevention specialist for them, where I did violence prevention workshops at school base, and also did like a big brother, little brother mentorship program where I trained high school students to actually counsel elementary students to not make some of the mistakes and bumps that they've had over the years. So for me, I take the social emotional learning approach. That's something that's big here in the schools. SEL. Everybody want to know about social emotional learning. So for me, I take what I've learned with like restorative justice and holding peace circles and tapping into people's heart. You know what I mean? Like, I don't change up regardless of who I'm talking to, Frazier. So I don't care if you a pimp, a prostitute, or a preacher. Like, I'm gonna give you the same delivery that I would anybody else. Everybody is sinners. All of us have made mistakes. So how do we tap into like forgiveness of self, forgiveness of others, so we could try and like heal our heart and be the best us that we can be? So I take that same approach, rather than be using certain language that I use in my workshops and delivering it and regurgitating it so that anybody can understand it for the most part. But I just take that and bring it to our young people and let them know, man, this is an outlet. Through creativity, we can save our lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know a lot of people who save their lives through creativity, and whether we talking about media or getting in the booth doing some rap or producing beats, it's just about allowing that creativity to flow through you, and kind of shift this dynamic, because it is ugly out here. But what I most understand is it's idle hands and idle minds. You know what I'm saying? Like, when people got idle time, it truly is a devil workshop. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a whole saying, but people just don't have nothing to do. Young fellas just don't have nothing to do but the foolery that's, to my left, my right, and over me. You know what I mean? So if we ain't giving them an option, or we not trying to create outlets for positive youthful energy, then we're going to continue to have to reap what we sow.
That's true.
All right.
Get it right on those. George.
Can you guys hear me now?
Now we can hear you. I like the
Yeah,
pose.
Yeah, you there.
Ready to pose.
Yeah.
The pose, George.
My internet just went out, man. This always happens when the conversations get good and bang, it just goes out. But that's all right, because they
I'm like, dang, I'm that born George. Just back up out of here, homie, man.
Yeah, man. It always happens, brother. Every time the conversation gets good, it's like somebody wants to turn the lights off, but they can't because we're getting the word out. You know what I mean? That's sometimes all the time. But back to your community development. When you say about getting the word out, what are some of the biggest things that you see hampering our communities? And the reason why I say it's a two-part question. Chicago has a bad rap politically based on everything that we've seen. But Frazier and I in real estate, and we look and do some real estate in Chicago. We know that there's some great things that are happening in Chicago, but they don't hit that mainstream media. All we hear about Chicago is the negative. What are you doing with your activism to let everybody know? No, Chicago is just as real as, Newark, New Jersey, or Miami, Florida, and people like us don't have to be afraid to come to Chicago, hang out, spend our money in Chicago, and things of that nature.
Once again, I think like the proof in the pudding. I don't do a lot of, and probably to a fault, I don't do a lot of social media talk, or I'm not one of them people who do the works that I do for like a applause or a pat on the back. You know what I mean?
Right,
but I know
right.
I'm really in the streets. I'm really in the trenches, really trying to make real change. So for me, it's just showing that I can hold a youth violence prevention seminar, and I can have 300 to 400 junior high school students in the building from different junior high schools, along with high school students, and we can show that the Black excellence and the brilliance of our young people is far beyond what Channel 2, 5, 7, and 9 gonna show us. Right. So like if we continue to look at the news, we got to understand that the news is just that. It's propaganda. You know what I mean? Like people going to show you what they want to show you. If I told y'all how many community events I've hosted or been a part of putting together, and I sent out a press release and looked for Channel 2, 5, 7, 9, 12, 32 to show up, and they never showed up, would you be surprised? You know what I'm saying? So it's like they don't want to see the good. But we can show that it's good. That's why right. These type of platforms are necessary. That's why George and Frank is necessary. That's why it's necessary for us, the retweet, repost button. Like we have to share and allow, technology to serve its purpose when it's beneficial to us. You know what I'm saying? Because we quick to share when somebody just got their brains blew out. We quick to share when if somebody twerking, we quick to share when it's that. But like, let's share when we actually see people who doing the real work and trying to influence change. Like we have to share that and push that, and it's not up to 2, 5, 7, and 9 to do that. So that's what Cadre Media represent. That's why we happy to partner with people like My Radio Chicago, headed by Shot Blizz, the crown holder. Shout out to my big bro. We happy to partner with people like Real Talk with George and Frazier, because we're not going to allow the works of many. It ain't just me. Like I ain't no golden boy. It's plenty of people who out here doing work in Chicago to help eliminate, or counter some of the nonsense that's going on. But they not getting no trophies, So we have to assume that position, and we have to be intentful and purposeful about it, and making sure that we spread that, and kind of kill some of the nonsense. Yeah, 5 people were killed, 53 and 53 wounded over the weekend here in Chicago. We heard about that, but did they show the peaceful 75th Street? If y'all from Chicago, it's like Black Wall Street, 75th Street from State to like Cottage Grove. So it's about like 2 miles of like black commerce. But the people took the streets, Frazier. Like this street is a couple barbecue spots, a liquor store. Exactly. If you pulled up a picture of what like a bird's eye view of the street, you would be like, damn, it almost looked like Beale Street in Memphis or something. Exactly. We don't regularly do that. But that occurred this weekend, and it was peaceful. It wasn't one shooting, it wasn't one killing, and it looked like the taste of Chicago on 75th Street. So I'm saying that to say we need 2579 to show up for that. Exactly. I know that went across the police. They got that across the dispatch. They heard that it was thousands of people on 75th Street. The news didn't come to show that. But if it had been a murder or a gun got swung side to side and several people got killed out there, they would have showed up to show that. So we had to show, like, even when we kicking it, even when we, black folks, black and brown folks are, enjoying themselves and what might not be a reserved manner to many, it still was a peaceful time. And we should celebrate that, and we should show that. And that should give hope to the city, and it ain't just Chicago, it's Miami, it's all our communities, but we definitely get the bad rap.
You're right, because when I was growing up, we had a lot of stuff going on. We have team basketball. We have community centers, boxing. We have community center. We go for like 3-4 hours and just sit there, relax, play games. do pottery. We had a lot of activity when I was growing up, so we were always busy. So our chance of getting in trouble was very little. But we don't think we didn't get in trouble now. He's always still fights. But majority of the time it wasn't that bad. And I'm saying, like, when I grew up, cops wasn't as bad as they said now. You know, back then we had cops, we go tell them, hey, the guy doing this, boom, they took care of you. You ain't seen no more. You see what I'm saying? But like I said before, time changes, millennium changes, so everything changes, people changes, and environment changes. So now Miami now going almost like LA. Look at it on the weekend, drive-bys. Stuff can happen every day now. You see people getting shot every day now. Going to a freaking graduation party, really a graduation party, bro? Like, what is it so evil about a graduation party? What they do to you? So the diploma at you? Hey, look at the diploma. You mad now? You want to kill me? Can you get one? I mean, be real about it, you know? I mean, some things we need to highlight more of. Like you said, we need to highlight more of the good things. Get more activities involved with good people. And show more of it. If they don't want to show it, we show ourselves. That's the problem. We need to start depending on the media because they don't want negativity. Make our own stations. So our own good process. So our own stuff. They don't want to show it, we do ourselves. Then
I mean, Fred, look, I definitely agree with you and everybody what they're saying. You know, I'm buzzing in and out, but I'm getting pieces of the conversation that are actually critical. You know, the problem is we don't own enough of our own media stations, and with mega conglomerates like social media now that can disconnect you, or YouTube, just for a thought that can disconnect you, and everything is based on money. You know, we have to play those games when it comes to that. You know, a lot of people don't know that right next to CNN, there's actually a news network called the Black News Channel, BCN, or Black News Network. Okay, you go right to their website, and it's all about us and our communities. And it's not just us, it's people of color, you know. So we have to keep that in mind as well.
That is true. Like, I mean, like, but so Fred, let me ask you a question. Like, have you in future plans, like, do you have any other program you actually want to establish that you want to lead and try to improve the community from your end, and then apply other people coming to partner with you?
Yeah. So it's great question again. Something that I'm just looking to push, man, is I would have loved to kick it off for this summer, but I don't think it's going to occur. Like a junior intro to everything I've done for others, Fraser. It's like bringing it to my own headquarters now at this point. So how do I create a summer? I really would love to have a summer program. And I didn't know what was going on with this pandemic, but I wish I had been better prepared because now we opening up a lot here in Chicago, a lot more leeway as far as the pandemic. But just similar to how we got all these STEM programs popping up, like it's important to push media to the young people. I'm talking like ages 11 to 14, you know, because all of them got the same phones too, you know, but we using this to be counterproductive. A lot of kids don't know everything you could do with an iPhone that's productive, let alone that you could create a film or a podcast off your phone using free software. So I'd love to create a program where we do intro to radio, television, similar to what I'm doing at Illinois Media School, but for the young people, for the elementary people. And I definitely will be calling on those institutions that I've been a part of, such as a True Star Media, Illinois Media School, NoOneRadio.com. Shout out to Julia Johnson over at No One, just to help bring on what I do know we need is more facilitators. It's a lot of us who are skilled in this vicinity, or this lane of work, should I say, and we don't know how to regurgitate it to those behind us. Like, I'm all about mentorship, and I don't even like to call myself a mentor much, but I understand, like, we got to give back, and you know, these babies will be grown before you know it, you know, and if we ain't arming them with something that can be beneficial to them and help keep them out the way, but also help them have perspective, you know, on life and community, then, you know, we hustling backwards.
Absolutely. So true. You know, we're coming close on time. What are some final thoughts that you can leave with our listeners for some of the things that you're doing? Because you've been dropping a lot of pearls.
A lot of pearls.
Hey man, well thank y'all. First of all, final thoughts definitely will be, man, make sure y'all tune in to Real Talk with George and Frazier, man, every week, man. Every episode, make sure y'all download that. Secondly, I would definitely invite you all to, man, follow me on Instagram at Prince of the Hill. It's like, man, shouts out to the flyers y'all created. They were super dope. So any of you guys who are watching, follow me, keep up with the movement. I got a lot of information I'm kicking out in the near future. And definitely I want y'all to follow My Radio Chicago on Facebook because my show, No Ceiling Fans Live, is broadcasting there every Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. Myself and my co-host Deontay, aka D Twice is Nice. We do sports and all things pop culture because it ain't no ceiling to the conversation. All right. So that's every Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. on My Radio Chicago. Y'all need to tap into that. There's no shows like it. There's no platform like My Radio Chicago. It's such a wide array of creatives and dope creative content coming out day to day, week to week. So it's a movement with my man Shy Blizz, the crown holder. Cadre Media, we coming to take over everything. And when I say that, I mean that. We coming to take over everything. The dopest content y'all can believe. Y'all have me back anytime y'all will want me here.
Right.
I'll definitely make myself available. Right. All love and respect to y'all. Thank y'all.
Most definitely. And I always say my favorite phrase, welcome to the family.
That's right.
Hey, bro. Listen, now y'all gonna have to call me Lil Lucky because I'm sure enough I'm coming to get the ribs and all that. All right, y'all gonna be like cousin. I'll be like,
no doubt.
Hey, did.
All right, bro. Yeah, man. You're always welcome, brother.
Always welcome,
appreciate you for being on the show, and I apologize for my internet connection.
Nah, no worries. We just gonna get you a little boost up next time, George.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? We gonna work it out. Matter of fact, I would love to do this in person, man. I got a trip to Miami coming up soon. Maybe I put it on the calendar for y'all, and y'all make some time for me. We do something in person.
Absolutely.
Cool. But that's funny. But that is George and Jersey, and I'm in Miami.
Well, I'm gonna have to ride with you, friends. We'll be in the same room, and
That's right. That's right.
We would George be on television.
Exactly.
That's all right. We know the technology works now.
Oh yeah, good now.
No doubt.
Man.
We appreciate you, brother. Definitely. Thanks for being on the show.
My humble appreciation. Thank y'all, man. Have a great remainder of y'all show, man, and knock it out, man. Y'all doing y'all thing. I like everything y'all doing, man. Keep it up.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you, brother. Much love. Man, tell me, George, great show, man.
It was a great show, man. I'm just upset, man. My Wi-Fi just kept buzzing, and I was like, look, if I set the Wi-Fi router now, it's going to take me like 10 minutes to get back on because you got to turn it off. You got to wait a few minutes, and you got to turn it back on, and it has to come on. I'm like, this is crazy. Why would it happen now when I had so many questions for this brother?
I know.
But
I was shocked. We got to have him come back again. Don't worry. Say a little question. We're going to have him come again. We're going to ask the same question you want to ask anyway. There you go.
No doubt. But listen, yo, that's our show. Hey, this is George.
Hey, this is Frazier.
And that was Real Talk with George and Frazier. Peace, y'all. Thanks for tuning in.
Peace, y'all.